straight talk with your host Reggie B. Come on, let's all join in. Free your voice, it's your choice, alright here. Oh, simply straight talk.
Oh my God, come on. I know my luggage has to be here somewhere. Ugh. Oh, yes, here we go. Right, oh my God, I need to hurry. I know Melissa is waiting. Excuse me. See, I'm sorry. Excuse me again.
Angelique, over here.
Hey, girl. Oh, I'm so glad you were able to give me a lift.
Hey, sis. There is no way I was gonna leave you out here stuck after a long flight. Besides, you know the airport is filled with weirdos. Speaking of weirdos, I hope you didn't run into that bad breath James.
Thank goodness. No. Or you would have seen an ambulance pulling up, because I would have dragged his ass from the runway to the street, all while putting his feet in a pair of shoes filled with gasoline as I light those bad boys on fire, yelling, "Burn, baby, burn."
Angelique, I'm gonna say this, but please understand that I'm saying this with love.
We always keeps it real.
So, you would do all that stuff to that crazy bad breath man without me getting in on the action? Girl, that is selfish. That is hella selfish.
Girl, please. Listen, you know I wouldn't leave you out.
Anyway, how was your trip? I know you're ready to spend some time with your man.
I don't know.
Is everything okay? A few seconds ago, you seemed okay. What's up?
It's just, sometimes I think about how hard I've worked and I feel good. But then when I think about the sacrifices I had to make, I don't know, I begin to question it all.
Now, I don't want to pry too deep or cross any boundaries, but when did you start to feel this way? Because it sounds like something happened recently to bring these emotions full-blown to the surface.
The business aspect of the trip was perfect. But Andrew and I argued the entire time. You know, and some days I struggled to stay focused on that. I just want to live life in a way where we are not faced with constant struggling. Ugh. And you know I love my work. I don't know, girl. I'm just trying to figure out if I've sacrificed the wrong things. Or am I just being selfish? I mean, according to him, I am. I love him, and I know he loves me.
But, Angelique, that's life. We all have to make sacrifices, especially if we're trying to reach a place where we feel comfortable or content about who we are as individuals or in a relationship. I know he's your man, but I don't see how he can call you selfish. You don't have a selfish bone in your body. Maybe he just misses you, and when you walk in the house, girl, he'll be all over his boo.
Girl, I doubt that. We have not been on the best of terms lately. I mean, he said he has to work today and most likely is getting off work late.
Well, I'm just putting it out there. Maybe we can ride by his job and see what's up. You know, if a man acting suspect and not coming correct, then his ass needs to be chin-checked.
You know what, actually, I have learned some new relaxation techniques to help me stay calm and not be so aggressive with my tongue. I hope this is not a case of unfaithfulness and, you know, we can work through this like two responsible adults.
I am really impressed. Will you feel like grabbing something to eat, or do you want me to take you home so you can relax?
Hell no! We are going to his job!
Oh, okay. It's my... Oh, yeah. I still got my baseball bat in the back seat.
He thinks I'm crazy. Nobody pays me for 4. I come home after being gone for 3 whole weeks, and my so-called man can't find time to meet me and greet his queen? I will dethrone his ass violently.
So, is this part of your relaxation technique thing you were talking about?
No, honey. This is called my get your shit together technique.
Welcome to the Simply Straight Talk Show, a podcast about real life with real talk. Each week, we deliver the best hard-hitting conversations on topics that affect you and me every day on this journey called life. Now, here's your host, Reggie Maddox.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Simply Straight Talk Show. It is season 9, and this is the first episode of season 9, and we are going to talk about the frustrations of sacrifice today, because we all make them. Hey, but before we get into that, I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been on the website, which is rmviagem.com. Man, been reading all your comments. Also, Angelique and Melissa, they've been checking out your comments, man. So we appreciate all that. We appreciate the love. I think we all agree, some people are a little demanded, but it's all good. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? It's all love and laughs over here. But hey, I really appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody sticking with it and tuning in to the show. So we are back to our regular full shows right now. So I'm hoping that you guys really enjoy what we're going to be bringing to you in the upcoming weeks. And also, I hope you had a wonderful and safe Thanksgiving. It is the holiday season, man. So y'all be safe. Y'all be cool. All right. But let's go ahead and get into the show. Let's get into this. This is what everybody been saying. When is it coming back? We back, baby. We back. Let's go ahead and have this conversation. So today, we're talking about the frustrations of sacrifice. Now, before we get into this conversation, we got to ask the question, what does it mean to sacrifice? Now, this is just my definition. Now, I'm not talking about the sacrifice like the bodily sacrifice that you see that's made when somebody's doing worship and practicing like that. I'm talking about what does it mean to sacrifice? And I'm saying to sacrifice to me is when you surrender or put aside something, with the hopes of obtaining a greater gain or like an opportunity later down the line. So basically you giving up something, you putting something on the side, on the back burner, because you're saying to yourself, I'm not going to focus on this right now because I'm seeing a bigger picture of something that can happen down the line. Now, why do people make sacrifices? And we got to understand that. Why do people sacrifice things in their life? Well, some people do it for financial sacrifices. They want to save money so their kids can go to college. You know what I'm saying? So their kids can have things in school. They can buy their kids clothes, for the school year, for trips. They want to save money so their kids can be part of maybe like a after school program, a summer program. Some people do it for career growth. They're relocating, they're taking a lesser paying job because maybe they need the experience or maybe they need to, kind of get their foot in the door somewhere. Some people are pursuing a career to where, they're sacrificing, being in relationships. And some people do that because their mindset is, if I want to become successful in my career, I don't need distractions. So they're not really into having any real relationships on a romantic or intimate level. They have very few friends, and even sometimes family can be a distraction. So they just want to do what they can to limit the distractions for the moment while they work on their career and pursue their career. Now, some folks may sacrifice, let's say, leisure time because maybe they're training because they want to play a professional sport. They want to become a pro athlete. So they're not out there doing like, the parties or really going out or doing anything like that. They are all about like, I got to get in shape. I got to study, so they're working on that. Others may sacrifice, starting a business or going back to school because maybe, it might be a father trying to help his wife, a wife trying to help her husband or your partner, a family member or friends. You're sacrificing something that you feel you have a passion for because you feel like their needs right now are more important. And in my opinion, I think most people sacrifice because they want to find some type of success. They want to find some type of success in life. Now, I want to say this, and this is just sort of a little side note. And I'm adding this in because I really think it's relevant to a person selecting what their goal, what they're sacrificing for. Like if you got this goal and I'm going to sacrifice these things for this goal because you want to be a success, you know what I'm saying? I want to add this little sort of caveat in there, just a little side note. But at some point, you must come to the realization that, you have to give up on other people's definition of success. And I think this is one of the most difficult things for people to do because it's so deeply embedded in our cultural narratives, music, television, social media, that it becomes the primary standard of not only how we live, but how we judge ourselves, how we judge others, how we, determine what our goals and what we're going to go after, because we're basing it on other people's success. Now, most people in this world would consider fame and fortune as the markers of success. They would. And I think you agree and I agree. But when you stop living by other people's definition of success, only then can you experience a freedom, man, that ultimately motivates you to live your life to the fullest. Just being you, just being who you are and loving and doing what matters to you. You know what I'm saying? I just want to throw that out there. Seriously, I really did. Because I really do think it's important. I think it's something that a lot of people are sacrificing because, they're watching what they see on TV. They're watching what they see other people post on social media or what they're hearing in music. And they're saying that's success. Buying the Gucci, the Bertrands. They think that money and fame is the ultimate. And so many people who are rich and famous are not happy. They live imbalanced lives. They're not happy. They're miserable. Look at all the suicide rates, the broken relationships. So just think about that for a second. Now, I told you my definition of, what it means for a person to sacrifice in life. And, we kind of discussed some reasons that a person may actually make sacrifices in life. And because we all do it, we all come to a point in life to where we say, I want to do this, but in order for me to achieve this goal or for me to get to this point in life, I got to put something on hold. I got to cut something out. I got to let something go. And sometimes, this can go on for a while, because we're working at it. You might be going to school, so you're not hanging out with your friends. You're working that job. You're trying to get that promotion. You're trying to get that experience so you can move to a better job and set yourself up for the future. And there's nothing wrong with that. But what happens? What happens when you get to the point to where you're like, your sacrifices are not yielding results? Because this is where the real challenge comes in. And this is the challenge that you're going to have to face head on, because it's going to determine if you're going to throw in the towel or just say to hell with this. Or if you tell yourself to keep going, I can make this happen, I can do this. But that's the thing about it. When you sacrifice in life, it really is a situation of how long can you go without seeing the results that you expect to see? And sometimes when we don't see those results, it is so aggravating. It is so frustrating. And it just makes a person wonder stuff. You just get all these thoughts going through your head because you feel like you've given up so much. You've done so much. And you're asking yourself all of the time, all of the money, is everything I invested, was it worth it? And this brings us to the question of, how's it going to happen? How am I going to make this happen? How am I going to make this happen? I've given up and let so much go. Is it even going to happen? What am I doing wrong? It's been a year. It's been 2 years. It's been 5 years. What is going on? How can I make this right? How long can I stay like this? And what's even more difficult is when you notice other people now These are people you see around you, maybe people you followed on social media or whatnot. But when you see other people and you're like, my work is better, I've worked harder, I've done more than them. And you start to feel like, wow, I put in twice the work, I did twice the effort, and they moved ahead of me. But like I said, what makes it more difficult is when you start to notice other people who started after you are celebrating because they've crossed the finish line, and it seemed like they ran past the first finish line. They're now crossing their second finish line. And you feel like you barely left your starting line. And mentally, you can look back and see it. You can see where you started from. But when you look at them, it's like they're so far ahead and they're so far away from where they started from, you begin to question and doubt yourself. These are the real frustrations with sacrificing in life. I like to be honest because, it's easy for people to come up to you and say, oh, just hang in there, just keep going, it'll work out. But you're not in this muddy water with me. You standing up on a mountain or you standing up on the banks. I'm sitting here splashing. I got these weights pulling me down. I'm drowning and you telling me just hang on? Because oftentimes when people tell you what their situation is or what they're struggling with, they don't tell you the whole truth of how deep they are in a situation. Because a lot of times when you talk to somebody and they're going through something, yes, they may feel like they're hearing you, but truly, sometimes you're talking to a person's hand because their body is so far deep. The only thing out is just their fingers. So basically, you're getting sign language from a person that's drowning. You got to remember that. It is not always as it seems. And, sometimes when a person gets in a situation in life, sometimes a person, they can end up moving back home with family and friends. Because, like I said, they've been trying to sacrifice, but no results are coming. They may have to downsize their current home, or maybe it's an apartment or house they're living in. They may have to let go of their vehicle for something more cost effective. They may begin to feel lonely and isolated, and some people may even reach a depressed state in life. And in some cases, a person can actually become homeless, or somebody just moves around so much that when they finally stand still, they see no progress and they see no possessions of value in their life. When a person is making sacrifices and they don't see any results, it is so easy to become discouraged. It is so easy to feel like you've been abandoned, you've been alone. And some people don't want to actually tell people that things are not working out. Because, people can be so judgmental. You know what I'm saying? People can, you shouldn't have did that in the first place. I don't know why you even thought about doing that. You should have stayed where you was. You was doing okay. People can be so judgmental. People will look at you and smile and you say, oh yeah, go for it. Go for it. But behind your back, they ain't going to do nothing. They ain't going to achieve nothing. We all make sacrifices in life. It is a requirement of life. It is something you cannot avoid. Whether you know it consciously or unconsciously, you are making sacrifices. Every day you're making decisions that's going to affect your life in the present and in the future. When you decide to do this or you decide not to do that, I believe life is based on decisions and actions. That's it. Two things. The decision you make as to whether or not you're going to study for a test or go out and hang with your friends is going to determine if you pass that test. The decisions you make, whether you're going to go out and hang with people that's committing crimes versus hanging with people that's probably part of a business club or academic club. The friends you choose who are trying to start a business and be more creative and productive. But if you want to hang with people who are going to be drinking and don't really care, just kind of, life is life, whatever. The decisions you make and who you embrace, they're your decisions. Don't blame them. It's your decision that if those people who are starting businesses are taking off, and you're still stuck talking about the past with the people that you used to hang with or used to know 20 years ago, and you're still talking about the same thing. Sacrifices are crucial to life. But the other thing you have to remember is there's going to be frustrations. There's going to be some frustrations, but you can't give up. And that's why we're going to take a quick break. And when I come back, I want to share some tips that may help you, okay, get through this as you strive for the things you want in life. So y'all stay tuned, man. We're going to be right back. I'm going to give y'all some tips on how to deal with the frustrations in life.
We'll be back with your host, Reggie, on Simply Straight Talk.
RM Viaging is a company based on life's journey and sharing life lessons with the world in the form of laughter and reflection, inspiring people to go after their dreams and not giving up on life. RM Viaging creates inspirational music and motivational speeches designed to motivate all age groups. Visit our website at www.rmviaging.com to hear samples of our music. You will also find motivational articles on our blog page titled New Life, New Mind blog. We also have a weekly podcast hosted by Reggie called Simply Straight Talk, all on our website at www.rmviaging.com.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. Now back to the show.
What's up, Simply Straight Talk people? Welcome back. Listen, we're here for the second part of the show. And I know everybody who listens to this show is people who like their real talk, man, keeping it 100. Ain't no BS involved, just calling it straight like it is. Real life, real talk. That's the only way to do it. You can't be fake around here. But listen, early in the show, we talked about the frustrations of sacrifice. And I told you guys that my definition of sacrifice is when you surrender or put something aside, you know what I'm saying, with the hopes of attaining something for a greater gain or an opportunity at a later period. You know, we gave some reasons that people may sacrifice. You know, we talked about they may sacrifice for career growth. They may sacrifice relationships. They may sacrifice family and friends. You know, they may sacrifice leisure time. They may sacrifice love. You know what I'm saying? Because they're trying to set something up for later down the road. But as the topic says, the frustrations of sacrifice, we had to talk about what happens when your sacrifice doesn't seem to yield any results. Then you start asking yourself, you know, when is it going to happen? What am I doing wrong? It's been 2 years, 5 years. Y'all heard me say that in the beginning, but you start to feel frustrated and aggravated because nothing seems to be working for you. Some people end up moving back home. Some people end up realizing they don't really have anything. Some people just feel inconsistent and aggravated about their life. But now I want to give you some tips. I want to give you some tips for how you can keep going as you strive to get the things you want in life. Now, we all agree that sacrifices are going to happen. You're going to have to make sacrifices at some point in your life. But you guys have heard me say this before, and I still stand by this now. Call timeout. And I always reference sports, even in football, in baseball. You know, even in baseball, when they see the pitcher is starting to look a little sluggish or his pitches are getting a little wild, they go up to the mound. Talk to him. What's going on, man? Let's figure out what's going on. Even in football and basketball, when they realize that the other team, you know, whether the offense is not doing well, the defense is not doing well, or the opposing team just keeps moving and scoring, the coach will call a timeout. The purpose of you calling a timeout in your life, okay? And I am such a fan of this in real life, just like it is in sports, is to help you get back on track. You see, people seem to be ashamed to accept the fact that, wow, I'm getting overwhelmed. I need to adjust my game plan. Call a timeout, man. call a timeout and look at what's going on right now. Look at what's taking place. Don't be ashamed, man, to say, you know what? I got to pause for a second. Now, this is not a permanent stop. This is just enough time for you to look at where you're at, what's going on, and see if you need to make any adjustments. You need to make sure that, okay, I was going here, this happened, or this is taking place. Or sometimes you might be working on something and you see something that's coming down the pipeline. You're like, wow, you know what? I need to make adjustments because this is going to happen if I keep going the way I'm going. That's the purpose of a timeout. A timeout is just to help you to kind of focus on where you got to go and what you got to do. Number 2, put nothing in stone. Do not create a roadmap for yourself with the mindset of everything has to follow the exact process that you laid out. Because there's always going to be hiccups and there are always going to be bumps in the road. So you have to be flexible with the mindset of I'm willing to make adjustments in order to get the best results. Because if you put everything in stone and say, you know what, it's going to happen exactly like this. If it don't flow exactly this way, you're going to end up either discouraging yourself to where you don't even want to do it no more, or one simple adjustment can kind of help you move over whatever hurdle might come ahead of you. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it just means you got to sidestep and get right back on the road and keep going. But if you're so stuck in the mindset that, everything has to happen this way, and I see people do it in relationships all the time. When people get ready to go on a date or they get ready to talk to somebody or somebody say something to them, if they do not act it out the way that you portrayed it in your mind of what that person was supposed to say or what that person was supposed to do, then you get an attitude. You get upset. When if you just would have let the storyline play out, you really find out that it actually came out better or worked out. That's why I say don't put everything in stone that it has to be one set way. Next up, research is a grinder. This is my number 3. Remember, my first one was called timeout. My second one was don't put everything in stone. My third one, research is a grinder. And people don't seem to understand that. Research is so important. I reference research to a grinder for the simple fact grinders are used to remove excess material from a surface or to smooth a surface out. Properly researching your goal and the steps that you're going to need to achieve your goal will help you with a smoother transition for some of those bumps you come across in life on your journey. Because if you actually take time to do the research, you might be like, okay, I know this was coming. I sort of prepared for it. So I got an idea. And it's not as hard as you think. It's not a bigger blow as you think you're going to take. When you don't do research and you don't look into things and then something pops up, you feel like you just got hit by a sledgehammer. When the truth is, sometimes you just got like a little tap. But because you didn't do your research, you're overreacting. You're getting bent out of shape, all because you didn't do your research, what could have helped you either eliminated the problem, made the problem smoother and easier, or like I said, you could have did the electric slide to the right, then slide back to the left and keep it moving on your way to getting what you need to get. Good example of this is like when you see kids going to college, and it's amazing how some people will go to college where they'll actually get enrolled in the school and realize, oh, you don't have that. I wanted to major in this. You don't have that. I mean, simple things like that. Research, people, research, and then some people will take jobs. Then they'll realize, oh, there's no room for growth. But I understand you need the money to get it. And I'm not saying you bad for taking that job, but research would have told you, you know what? They don't have any room to grow, but I need a job. I can get some experience to pad my resume. So let me take this job right now. I can add this to my resume. And then within 6 months, I'm bouncing to something that's going to give me that professional growth that I need and want. Research is a grinder. Use research to help grind out some of the speed bumps you come across in life. And this next one, man, number 4, this is a big one. Learning stops. I want you to say that. Learning stops. Too often, people use words like, man, I failed. It was a failure. Man, it was a setback. Man, I took a loss. It didn't work. Or things ain't working. Stop it. Seriously, stop it. Let me tell you, you need to change that verbiage to where you say, yeah, I'm at a learning stop right now. Well, I know I hit a learning stop. Learning stops are when you come to a place in life that require you to understand your situation. Okay? It helps you to understand your situation, your present situation. Now, in order to make it to your next place in life. So don't be afraid to learn as you go. The more you keep using negative words to describe certain areas in your life, the more discouraged you will become and aggravated about your situation. When you reach a roadblock, that's a learning stop. A learning stop is going to tell you, hey, you're moving too fast. Hey, you might want to slow down. Hey, you might want to consider this. This may not be the best choice. That's a learning stop. Okay? It tells you to slow down, go faster. It tells you, hey, you might want to reconsider your present situation if you're going to reach this goal. If you're going to reach the third step in your process, let's take a look at where we are right now, because this is going to sort of hinder you. That's it. A learning stop helps you to learn about your process, what works, what can be improved. That is what a learning stop is. You have learning stops in your life, but are you learning from your learning stops, or are you just calling everything a failure or a setback? Well, I just took a loss. I just took an L on that. Think about how you describe the place you are in your life. Think about what you do and what you say. If you embrace things in your life as a learning stop, then you're really putting yourself and your mind in the position of, okay, this is a learning stop. All right, what do I need to learn right here? Okay, we got to this point. What worked? What didn't work? Okay, what's going to get us over the hump into the next spot? Okay, research. I need to do research. Cool. I'm going to pull out my research grinder and do some research and see what's next. Okay, I had this. Let me change this. All right, let me call a timeout. Embrace the moment. See what's going. That's all it is, people. That's what it is. Now, I'm not saying that, taking sacrifices is going to be easy, especially when you feel like you're not getting end results. But I'm just giving you 4 positive ways to deal with it to help you move forward, no matter where you are. But you know what? We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be right back with the final thoughts of today's show.
Free your mind, free your voice right here on Simply Straight Talk.
Hey, this your man Reggie here. Are you looking for some fresh new music? Are you looking for an artist that's got that positive vibe and that positive flow, that knows how to flow lyrically? Then man, you need to check out Tone G Music with songs like Buzzing, Good Deeds, and Pick Up the Phone. Now these songs are available on Apple Music and other digital platforms. Tone G brings that positive vibe in everything he does. And the music he brings with the reggae style and that smooth lyrical flow, oh, you know what to do. Y'all check out Tone G Music.
You're listening to the Simply Straight Talk Show, bringing you the best conversation on your morning, afternoon, and primetime drive.
All right, everybody, we are at the final thoughts of today's show. Today, we talked about the frustrations of sacrifice. It is something that we have to deal with. And I don't want to say it like it's a disease or something like that, but it just plays a part in everyday life. Especially for those of us who are trying to make it, trying to achieve, trying to get ourselves into a better position in life, be it with relationships, be it with jobs, our careers, whatever you're trying to do. I know people who are in the music industry and they're trying to get their music career going, and it's tough. It's tough because they have to make sacrifices to recording, sacrifices to actually performing, working on new music, creating new music. We all make sacrifices. Podcasters make sacrifice. So everybody, there's families out there, single mothers, single fathers, even children in school are having to make sacrifices because they're thinking about where they want to be in the next couple of years and how they're going to get there. Like I said, keep in mind the tips that I gave you. Don't be ashamed to call time out and take a look at where you are and try to figure out what you can change about your situation to help you move ahead a little better, a little smoother. And we talked about, putting nothing in stone. Don't expect everything to go directly or exactly as you think it should. Allow yourself to be flexible. Research. Look into what you want to do. Don't just say, I want to be a singer. Don't just say, I want to write a book. Look into what goes into it. Look into what's required. You want to start a business? Look into that business. Go so deep into determine, I want to start a business, where you want to start a business, what location you want to start a business, how many other businesses are in the area where you want to start your business. What is their price points? Start looking at things like that. Do your research and get rid of the negative wording. Learn to say learning stop. I'm at a learning stop right now to where I'm trying to educate myself on how to, move forward, how to go ahead. This is a learning moment for me in my current situation. You're learning. Learning helps you to move to the next level. Everything is not a setback. Everything is not a failure. It's a learning stop. You're stopping to learn about where you are and how you can do better. But when it comes to sacrifices, listen, I know. Trust me, I am not some rich man sitting in some fancy house, posting rich pictures and then telling everybody how to do this. I'm telling you, real talk, Reggie Maddox, I understand the frustrations of doing things and not seeing results. I know the frustration of sacrificing. You know what I'm saying? Your money, your time, because you're thinking that what you're doing is going to elevate you to another level, to give you a better life, help your family, help yourself. I understand that. So please know that I know you're probably making sacrifices right now. I know other people seem like they are moving ahead of you. Just use the tips that I gave you. Stay focused. Don't lose track. And I know some of this can sound like a broken record, but I'm telling you, don't be afraid to adjust your game plan. It doesn't mean that things won't happen for you. But if you're a little more flexible, if you take time to do your research, if you take time to learn from everything, if you just call a timeout and evaluate and recenter yourself, I guarantee you things will fall into place. But hang in there. Don't let yourself get depressed. Don't let yourself get aggravated. It is so easy to fall into that. Don't let negative people influence and affect you. You can do this. You can have the life you want. Understand, it's going to take time. It's not going to be overnight. Trust me. I know. I'm with you. I'm with you. Believe me. Hey, thank y'all for checking out the show, man. I appreciate all the love and support. As you know, we are back. We'll be back next Friday with another episode of the Simply Straight Talk Show. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Straight Talk Show with Reggie Maddox. If you like what you just heard, we hope you'll pass along our podcast to your friends and colleagues. And please leave us a positive review on iTunes. Be sure to check out our archive section on iTunes, Spotify, Libsyn, and YouTube. Join us next time for another edition of the Simply Straight Talk Show.